So I want to talk a little bit about freedom and supplant it with a kind of a concrete example. The right wing thinks they understand exactly what freedom is all about. They've got a very strict definition of freedom. And of course they think they're right about it. But, there is no such thing as absolute freedom. In order to acquire some freedoms, you must be willing to give up other freedoms. For example, if you want to live in an environment free of crime, if you want to be free to walk down the street without having your life threatened, well, then you have to give up the freedom to commit crimes. Okay, so there's always that trade-off. It's which freedom do you find more valuable, and it really comes down to a value judgment. Now, when the founders of this country determined what were rights, they thought the government was instituted, and correctly so, to secure freedoms, to secure liberties. And the belief at the time, what Jefferson articulated in the Declaration of Independence, was that he believed that in order for people to secure these rights, that they would institute governments, and that when governments did not protect the liberties that were considered rights, that the natural result would be that the people would overthrow them. Okay, and this is at the heart of the concept of rights. Okay, that if people lose rights, then they feel that they need to overthrow the government, that there's something fundamentally wrong. And it comes down to which freedoms they feel are more important, which freedoms they value more. Okay, so why am I explaining all this? Well, part of it's just the abstract part of it, but I've also got a concrete example that I wanted to lead into. And with healthcare, we face a very fundamental dilemma with freedom, because if we allow people the freedom to switch health plans with no pre-existing conditions, the health insurance industry is going to complain that, well, that's not fair, because now what people can do, giving them the freedom to switch policies with no pre-existing conditions, gives them the freedom to not have a policy at all, and only get a policy when they get sick. Okay, which is cheating. Okay, so we've got two different kind of freedoms we could have. One would be the freedom to choose your policy, okay, and have it be run the way it is now. The other is to not have the freedom to choose whether or not to have a policy, but to have a freedom of choice of policy. That is, disallow pre-existing conditions, but require all people to have health insurance. So those are the choices. Okay, so if we allow people to either opt in or out of getting health insurance, when they get sick, they're on their own. If they get sick and they want to switch insurance policies, can't do it. Okay, it locks them in. It restricts their freedom. Their freedom for finding the best insurance policy for them is restricted by the fact that they now have a pre-existing condition, and they're locked into whatever policy they had at the time they got sick. All right. On the other hand, if we allow them to change policies and not allow the insurance companies to disqualify based on pre-existing conditions, we need something to stop people from cheating. That is, from not having any policy at all until they get sick. Okay, so that's the dilemma of freedom. And by and large, people who have insurance, people who want insurance, which anyone with any grain of sense at all is going to want health insurance, because it poses such an enormous risk. It is disastrous. If you get sick and you don't have health insurance, it's disastrous. It's bankruptcy. It's sell the house, all your assets are gone, goodbye to everything you ever hoped for your life. It's taking care of your health problem from that point forward. So no one in their right mind would not want health insurance. So the question is, that freedom is gone anyways, okay? For all intents and purposes. What freedom is more valuable? The freedom to switch policies. The freedom to switch policies based not on pre-existing conditions, but based on which company has the best policy. Okay, so that's the dilemma we have with freedom in the healthcare industry right now. So, also the freedom to have the government institute a public option. Okay, I think that's another freedom that a lot of Republicans do not like, because they're afraid that the government will win. Okay, and of course, there's nothing worse that could happen for a Republican than to have the government not fail at something, because it would destroy their ideology. Well, anyways, that's all I'm going to say for now. Thanks for listening. Bye.